Well, a major UFO file dump from the Pentagon is reigniting one of the oldest questions out there. Are we really alone? The Trump administration just released dozens of videos, military reports, FBI interviews, and even old NASA transcripts documenting mysterious objects spotted everywhere from Syria to the skies over Kazakhstan. Now, some of this footage shows fast-moving lights making sudden turns that pilots say defy normal flight patterns, while other cases were eventually explained away. But President Trump is now telling the public to draw its own conclusions as speculation explodes online once again. But will believers say that this could be the biggest disclosure yet? Experts are warning people not to jump straight to aliens. So what are we actually looking at here? Well, famed mystifier Uri Geller has some theories.
I told you that Donald Trump is going to release material, but how much material?
Joining us now is Uri Geller, world-famous mystifier himself. Uri, you have spent decades talking publicly about extraterrestrial life and unexplained phenomena. When you look at these newly released Pentagon files, what stands out to you the most?
Okay, Natasha, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm here in Old Jaffa, very close to your studios in my museum. Look, you said something like, are we alone? Are we not alone? Are we alone? Look, if we were alone, what a waste of space that would be out there. Of course, we're not alone. And you're right. I've been studying this for decades. And I will amaze all your viewers tonight. I will blow their minds with the story I have to tell. But let's go back a little. I have met people who have seen UFOs, were abducted by UFOs. But I have one photograph which I have to show you. This was sent to me by Whitley Strieber. If you don't know the name, he's a best-selling author, New York Times best-selling author. He's a credible man. You have to believe in what he says. And he sent me a photo. I asked him, send me a photograph of an alien. I want to see it, a real alien. Well, this is what he sent me. I'll center it. Hopefully, you're able to see it clearly. Now, this is before AI. We're talking about the 40s. The 40s, Natasha. This is a photo that was taken by a guard in some type of a derelict factory in Mexico. But now let's go to the major story. I'll have to pick up what I just threw on the floor because I was thinking, should I tell you or not? I will tell you. Let me pick it up. 50 years ago, astronaut Edgar Mitchell, who was the sixth man to walk on the moon, tells me that there is a German Nazi scientist called Dr. Werner von Braun, who wants to meet me and show me something. Wow, Dr. Werner von Braun was a rocket genius. After the war, President Kennedy brought Dr. Werner von Braun to America in order to use his mind, his brains, to prepare the moon landing. Some people don't believe me. I met Dr. Werner von Braun. Well, here are photos. This is Dr. Werner von Braun. He's showing me a piece of a UFO. Next to me stands a CIA man, an astronaut, Edgar Mitchell. Now, I impressed him with spoon bending and mind reading. Then he tells me, Uri, come out to the parking lot with me. My brother-in-law had a tiny German Minox camera, a spy camera, which was actually given to me by the CIA to spy for them. He takes this photo. Werner von Braun puts me in his limousine, and we drive together to the center of NASA base called Goddard Space Lab Center. We arrived to a huge concrete building. A few guards, he opens the door, and we go down to the abyss of the building, he and I alone. We come to a glass door. He opens the door, and in the corridor, there are Antarctica warm coats with a NASA logo on. He says, put one on, and he puts one on. And then, Natasha, he leads me to a huge metal door, as big as these arches in my museum. He opens the door, and my mind is blown. We walk into a refrigerated room, and I'm no fool, Natasha. And I was not hypnotized. With my own eyes, I see alien bodies lying in glass tubes, frozen. Many of them were injured. Wow. You know, I always believed in aliens because that's the punch of tonight's story.
Right.
But to see it with my own eyes.
Okay. Well,
that's
obviously,
mind-blowing.
Obviously, what we saw released in these files was not images of frozen aliens. And so, of course, the question whether or not, or I think the question that everybody has right now is really if there was something within these files specifically that provides definitive proof of alien life. That is the question. Did you see anything that stood out to you in these specific files?
Absolutely. And I think today, Congressman Tim Burchett said there is a lot to come, still to come, that will shock you. Now, I want to believe that they're going to introduce bodies of aliens. Some say that they're living aliens. I know for a fact that Benjamin Netanyahu, Donald Trump, and some other presidents, not a lot, know that they are aliens, and maybe they're even in touch with aliens and use alien technology for warfare. That's why all this was hushed down for decades. Everybody denied UFOs and aliens. Now, let me just end this interview by something really shocking. When I was 6 years old, I'm from Tel Aviv. I was born here. I was playing in a huge garden, Arabic garden, in Sderot Rothschild Boulevard, and Yehuda Levi. Suddenly, in front of my eyes, I see a huge sphere of light. It's strobing, and out of the light, something hits my forehead. It was so tangible and hard that I fell into the grass. I ran home to tell my mother. She didn't believe me. She thought I was imagining it or making it up. But this story was so powerful that I decided not to ebb away from it. I wrote about it in my books. I talked about it in documentaries. 20 years ago, a BBC documentary plays in Israel about me, where I'm telling this story. The next day, I get a phone call from an Israeli Air Force officer who tells me, Uri, I was there. I heard you last night, and I saw you. You know, I jump on the phone. His name is Avrahami, and he tells me that he was a young Air Force soldier, officer, walking to his mother's apartment in Rothschild Boulevard, and he sees me. He sees the sphere of light.
Interesting. So he witnessed this moment. He witnessed this moment. Well, I have to say, Uri, you are one of the few people that I've spoken to that have had so many experiences interacting and seeing what could be proof of alien life. Again, I think a lot of us are looking at these Pentagon files and hoping they're going to see something that is absolutely definitive. Thank you for joining us. We have to go out for a quick commercial break. Very interesting. All right, my friends, this is Global Eye. I'm Natasha Kirchik. It was a pleasure having you with us. We'll see you next week.